What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Cannonballs podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Dane Cannon. Co-hosting with me today is
your boy, Jake motherfucking Bowles on the mic. 1, 2.
And guys, if you haven't already, please go ahead and check out our latest video. We did our first ever mock draft. We're going to be it's only covering the first round. It's a no trade mock, and we kind of hinted that we were going to do a little episode with a very special guest, Zach Bachman. He has been on the pod before. He's a friend of the pod. We've known him for quite some years now. Jake introduced me to him, and I've been good friends with him since. Zach is a Green Bay Packer fan, so that kind of hints the direction we're going with this. We're going to be discussing diehard Packers fan, and we're going to be going into the Aaron Rodgers trade. He gets traded from Green Bay going to the New York Jets. Guys, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on our Instagram at Cannonballs with a Z_podcast. Jake, you have anything to add before we get going?
Yeah, I just wanted to state the details in case anybody's been living under a rock. So Aaron Rodgers was dealt to the Jets for a pick swap. The Packers get the 13th overall. The Jets get the 15th. The Jets also get a 5th round pick in this year's draft. And then the Packers receive the 13th, a 2nd round pick, number 42, a 6th round pick, number 207, and a conditional 2024 2nd round pick that if Aaron Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps this year, it's going to turn into a 1. So more likely than not, it's going to be a 1. And then, on top of it, they get rid of Aaron Rodgers, a player I think they wanted to get rid of, and they don't have to pay that fat-ass contract. So I want to hear from our resident diehard Packer fan. What do you think of the trade, Zach Bachman?
Oh, man. Well, first of all, deja vu, right? I was in high school when the Packers traded Brett Favre to the Jets. So obviously same team, same scenario where the team was kind of ready to move on to their backup quarterback who they had been sitting on the bench for the 3-4 years, and same situation. I think understanding the business side of the trade and understanding the business side of where the Packers are coming from, it's like, hey, we have this 1st round pick that we went out and got, which we shouldn't have in the first place. I mean, we wasted a 1st round pick on a quarterback. They have to follow through with that. They either trade the backup and try to redraft another quarterback, or they continue to go on with Jordan Love. But overall, man, I love Aaron Rodgers. I love his personality. I love getting to know him. I love that he's an asshole and doesn't give a fuck about what people say. Big fan, and I'm going to miss him for sure.
So what direction do you think that the Packers need to go in this new era of, Jordan Love? Do you think that they need to address a wide receiver in the 1st round? First of all, do you think Jordan Love is the answer? Do you think that he's going to be able to step into the role that Aaron Rodgers did to a certain degree and kind of take this team where they need to go to make it to the playoffs again?
Man, I think there's a ton of unknowns, but I don't think that Jordan Love has the arm strength or the arm talent that Aaron Rodgers had. I think it's one in, however many. Like, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer for a reason. That's his arm, his ability to make plays and be a quarterback in the NFL. We haven't seen that from Jordan Love. I think what we saw of him last year, I think he made huge jumps, huge strides in his career so far. And I think that's kind of what the Packers were excited about. So I'm excited. I'm excited as a fan to see what Jordan Love has. But could I sit here and be like, oh, this guy's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback? I don't know for sure. Really don't know.
Okay. So going back to my original question, what direction do you think that this team needs to go in the draft? What would you like to see the Green Bay Packers target in the 1st round, or maybe in the first 2 rounds?
Offensive line, I think.
Offensive line?
Reading some of the stuff online, that's kind of the direction that they're going. Bakhtiari hasn't played a full season since 2020. And then we've just been picking up free agents here and there and trying to move them around, shuffling around. And I think that was a lot of the issues that we had last year. It was just super inconsistent offensive line play.
I can definitely see that. How do you feel about the wide receiver room in Green Bay right now? How do you feel about like the new guns? Romeo Dobbs, some of the other young guns. You guys also traded away some pretty big pieces. Alan Lazard's no longer there, which is, I think, a big one. Devontae Adams got traded last year. So how do you feel about the wide receiver room?
I think overall, not only the receiver room, but as a team, we're very young. We're going to be very young. And I think that's why the team decided to opt to move forward, because they can build and construct a team that's moldable. Uh, but I think that we would benefit from going and getting a veteran wide receiver to put in that wide receiver room to get those guys where they need to be, to give them that experience that they don't have right now. I don't think drafting another first round wide receiver is going to automatically make our team so much better. I think we need some experience in that room overall.
Okay.
Right on. Well, I think we did our mock draft yesterday, and we had Michael Mayer going to the Packers.
Who's Michael Mayer? Enlighten me, because I'm not.
He's a
You
tight
don't know
end.
who Michael Mayer is?
Dude,
I don't follow college football well enough.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he's the tight end out of Notre Dame. He's not like a Travis Kelce type tight end, but he's overall probably.
So what I would say about Mayer is he's the most complete tight end in this year's draft because he gives you, what you're looking for in the blocking game. I think he's the most sound blocker plus the receiving game. He's not a burner. He's not going to be running like low 4.5s for a tight end. He's about 260 pounds, 6'4". They call him Baby Gronk for a reason. I mean, this guy knows how to use his body control to block out defenders. And, he positions himself really well. He's not going to give you as much, yak yards after the contact, but I think that he's probably the most sound blocking tight end and receiving threat in this year's tight end draft.
I love going after a tight end, but if we're going to use a first round pick on a tight end, he's got to be Travis Kelce, Darren Waller type talent. Like, I got to see some sort of game changer. Otherwise, I think we have to get better on the offensive line. That's my opinion, But I know that we lost Robert Tonyan. He's out with the Bears now. So we got to go after another tight end. I understand that, but it's got to be game changing, man. You're using that first round pick. He's got to come in, be able to play right away.
I will say there is a tight end in this year's draft who is Travis Kelce-esque, and his name's Dalton Kincaid. He's the tight end from Utah. The only thing is he doesn't offer you the positional value when it comes to blocking. He is just like a slot wide receiver. He's not a slot wide receiver. You could use him in an X role if you really wanted to. He could play wide out because he used to play wide receiver, but he's got such a big frame. I think he's like 6'5", 6'4", around there, maybe 6'3" to 6'5", and he's like 240 pounds. But dude, his yak yards, he literally looks like Travis Kelce out there breaking tackles, getting yards after the contact. I think if you're looking for like a receiving option in the tight end room, he's probably the best receiving option. But yeah, I agree with you. I do think that the Packers should address the offensive line. How do you feel about the Packers defense overall heading into this year?
Man, when we got Campbell back towards the end of the season, completely different defense. I mean, when we have Campbell in there, that Mike Backer, he solidifies the defense. He's the one calling the plays. I think it's a big change, and hopefully he maintains his health throughout the season. And then with all those young pieces around him, those Georgia linebackers that were able to fill in, even though he's kind of, that one was a Quez Walker that got ejected twice over the season.
Man, some boneheaded moves, man. Some boneheaded moves.
So I think once we get those guys up to speed, and again, man, our team is very young. I think our defensive line, besides Clark, Clark, right in the middle. Jeez, dude. Listen, guys, I've had a long day, man. I do. I'm a master's and a credential student. I coach football. I coached youth football today, so I'm just trying to keep up. But yeah, I think we're young, man. I think we'll continue to build.
Zach, you're currently in your master's program. Sorry, Jake. I just wanted to ask that.
Yeah. I just started in January. I'm doing my master's and credential at the same time. Yeah.
Hey, good for you, man. What are you getting your master's in?
Special education.
Oh, nice, dude. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Hell yeah. So, after all this trade, where do the Packers stand in the NFC North? What do you like? Just where do you think where would you rank them?
Realistic expectation.
Realistic.
Realistic, not optimistic, not like what you're hoping for. Like, where do you think that they will place?
Give us a base, an honest base, and an honest floor or honest ceiling.
Yeah. Okay. I say floor would be third. I don't think we're worse than the Bears right now.
I agree.
Ceiling, a second place. I think we can beat the Lions out for third or for second. I think the Vikings still have too many weapons, and I think they're more complete team right now still.
I got a hot take for you, Zach.
Go ahead.
I think the Lions take the division.
I think so too.
No, I'm serious, man. I'm dead serious. I think the Lions take the division this year. Not only based off of what I saw from last year, like their offense is humming, dude. Plus, they have 2 first-round draft picks this year. They have draft capital throughout the entire draft. They're a young team. They're building that, connection with one another. Mm-hmm. Campbell's going to have them by kneecaps left and fucking right. I don't care like what anyone says. They're rowdy, dude. They ball out, and they were 1 win away from making it to the playoffs last year. I think that they could easily win this division. Plus, the Vikings always drop 1 game to the Lions. Vikings will never win 2 games against the Lions. I don't care what anyone says.
No, Packers too.
I wouldn't say.
Go ahead.
I wouldn't say easily win the division, but I think they're my favorite to win the division, especially how Minnesota kind of pissed their. Well, they didn't really piss their season away. It was such a weird season for the Vikings, but what they showed me was not impressive. But I think they have a lot of pieces still too. It's going to be hard for first place. But yeah,
really quick, I just want to clarify. I didn't say they will easily win the division. I said they easily could win the division. So like big difference. Like I don't think that it's going to be a cakewalk by any means, but I think that there is a chance that the Lions end up being the number 1 seed in this division.
All right, so I just looked at Vegas odds. Lions are plus 150 to get first place. So you guys are kind of in line with what everyone's thinking right now.
Dude, I'm telling you, like after watching this offense last year, because they really built up the trenches on the offensive side of the ball. Like that offensive line is going to protect Goff. Depending on where they go in the draft, whether they decide to go QB in the first round, whether they decide to go cornerback, which is what I think that they're going to do, especially with the departure of Jeff Okudah. I think that they're going to either target Christian Gonzalez, which we talked about in our podcast last night, or not Deontay Banks, Devon Witherspoon. Yeah, I love Devon Witherspoon. I think that he's a Campbell guy. I think Christian Gonzalez could be a Campbell guy as well. But yeah, man, it'll be interesting. I think the NFC North is going to be a wild division to watch this year. I think there's going to be a lot of shakeup compared to the last decade or so.
You know it's going to be. I'll be honest.
No, you go ahead, Zach.
We could end up in last place. I'm not unrealistic with that. All right, like it's a complete changeover, losing a franchise quarterback, 2 franchise quarterbacks back to back. We could be kind of sitting at the bottom, fighting, scrapping with the Bears. But I'm hopeful, man. I believe in Matt LaFleur. I think they have a vision for what they want to do. So
I will say this is a perfect test for Matt LaFleur. LaFleur. Say his name. This is a perfect test for him. I mean, this is the first time he hasn't had Aaron Rodgers to kind of carry him through, and now he's going to be able to prove if he's a good coach. So I'm excited for that. I think we forgot about the most important question, the whole purpose of this episode. Who do you guys think won the trade? Is it equal? Is it kind of one-sided? I want to know your opinion.
Go ahead, Dan. I'll defer to Dan first.
That is tough. That is tough. Honestly, I'm going to say that the Jets won this trade personally, just because that you're getting a bona fide Hall of Fame quarterback. that's already worth at least 2 first round picks, in my opinion. Like, I don't necessarily think Aaron Rodgers has a lot of years left, but I think that you have at least 3 quality years because he's what, 37 at this time?
I
don't think he's 40.
38?
39. He's around there.
Okay. Okay. Well, if Brady can win a Super Bowl at 43 or 44, whatever the fuck age he was, old man out on the field, I think Aaron Rodgers has done a pretty good job of keeping his body in shape, taking care of his body. He's got these freaking crystals that are coming out of nowhere now that are going to protect him from all this bad juju. So, DMT, ayahuasca, he's got these demigods that are looking over him from freaking the rainforest. I don't know. I think that he's going to be fine. So, plus, not only that, like the Jets already have a solid defense. Like the Jets are pretty stacked on defense. They have offensive weapons. Plus, they still get to have a first round pick. So I think that's huge for them. It's just, I don't know, man. It's hard for me to find anyone in this year's draft with as much talent as Aaron Rodgers had, which is why I would kind of lean towards the Jets winning this trade.
I agree, man. I think Jets win this trade because you look at their quarterback play last year and what they're going to get this year. I mean, so much different, so much better. I think the Packers got some good compensation. I would say that we got what I thought was pretty fair. So I'm happy with what we got, especially if that next year's pick turned into a number 1. And
I think it will turn into a number 1, which is huge.
Yeah, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to play. But I think just even if they do really well, it'll still be a first round just later, But I think the Jets are a better team right now than what they'll be next year.
I want to put this question to Jake because I know that you don't watch college ball, Jake. But I'll keep you included in this, Zach. So say, for example, Jordan Love is not the answer. You guys tank this year. Like you guys ball out maybe 2 games out of the entire season, 2-win team. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, worst case scenario, right. They get first overall pick. What do you think of Caleb Williams to the Green Bay Packers, Jake? How gnarly would that be?
It would it'd be fitting. It'd be
it would be insane because then it would just be like another freaking Heisman winner or like another great quarterback going to Green Bay, which would be gnarly. I'm sorry, Zach. I'm not saying that like I want you guys to tank, but I think that Caleb Williams going to the Green Bay Packers would be sick. I'd like him a lot more than Jordan Love coming out of Utah State personally.
Is that's the SC quarterback?
Yes, it is. The one who played at Oklahoma.
Gotcha.
Okay. My grade on this trade, I think it's a win-win for both sides, to be honest. The Packer side, you get, honestly, I personally think they got more than they should have because the Jets kind of effed up by kind of showing their hand, showing that they wanted Aaron Rodgers. I think they could have probably gone him for less. I mean, because he has that fat-ass contract, and the Packers didn't want to pay that. So I think the Packers won by, just here you go. Here's that $50 million a year contract. They won with that, and they also won by getting, potentially 2 first-round picks. And then the Jets, they win if Aaron Rodgers plays longer than a year and if they get a Super Bowl. If he plays 1 year and they don't, just like Brett Favre, if he plays 1 year, it's kind of just shit in New York. It doesn't pan out like how it's supposed to be, then they definitely lose this freaking trade. But if Aaron Rodgers can go back to MVP Aaron Rodgers and, have him in contention for a Super Bowl, a legit shot, then I like both sides. And they get to keep their first round pick. So I like it. I like both sides. I really do.
I do like this trade for both sides. I do want to say that. I want to specify, like, I do think that this is this is one of the more fair trades. It feels like one team didn't necessarily get fucked compared to the other team. Because we've seen some trades in the past where it's just like one team gets absolutely effed. Like they just bend over backwards trying to get rid of a player, trying to gain something. And they get like a 5th or a 6th round composition. It's just, I don't know what some GMs are doing out there. But, I think that Packers front office actually did a pretty good job with this one, especially for such a notable player. So I think it was worth it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think something had to give, right? I think they were kind of at a standstill trying to figure this out,
Hmm.
and I think both sides just admit to one another, like, "Hey, this got to get done. We've got to be able to meet us some middle ground," and I think it was pretty
Hmm.
fair overall.
Yep.
Agreed.
All right.
Well, Jake, do you have any other questions for Zach? I don't really have anything else that I can think of off the top of my head. Zach, there anything you wanted to ask
Oh,
us?
I
Oh,
do. Besides the Super Bowl, favorite Aaron Rodgers memory since he's no longer part of your team.
Favorite Aaron Rodgers. I mean, listen, like I hate to harp back to this, but again, I was a junior in high school when the Packers won the Super Bowl in 2011. Okay, so
Lucky.
um, yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I feel blessed as an NFL player, as an NFL fan, to be able to be like, hey, I watched my team win a Super Bowl and I watched Aaron Rodgers win it. Watching
I've
him
never
lift
even
that
seen my team
trophy.
make it to a Super Bowl.
Exactly, man. I feel blessed to be able to say that, dude. And to see it like such a cool age, to be in high school and,
Hmm.
and, and be such a diehard fan. It was really awesome
Yeah.
for sure.
Awesome. I love it. Uh,
Zach, do you have anything that you wanted to ask us, bro?
Uh, you know what? What do you think about the Trey Lance rumors? I just was curious about that.
Ooh,
You may have touched on this a little bit, but
um, I,
so I know
I,
what Jake's opinion is.
I think it's, I don't, I think it's just rumors. I don't think it's gonna happen.
mm,
It's kind of just like, why, like they gave up 3 first round picks, right?
mhm.
If you're not gonna at least get a 2 in return, and he's on contract for the next 2 years, so it's just you might as well just keep him on the team, backup. If he plays, he plays. Maybe he shows out what he's got. If he if it was a bust, it was a bust. You move on. Um,
Mhm.
and it's that I don't see them trading him for a 7th round pick or a 6th round pick or something like that. Anything below a 2, I just do not see happening. So
What
I'm
about the
sure.
sorry? What about the number two overall? He goes to the Texans.
I haven't heard that. Family ties, D'Amico.
Exactly.
That would be very interesting. Um, Damn,
Would you
I
be
just
happy
don't
with the
know.
second round or the number two overall pick if they got rid of him?
It's so hard because I have not seen anything from Trey Lance.
Yeah.
And has he really gotten a fair shot in this league? No. He's played what, 2 games? He's
One
played
and a
two
half,
games.
dude. One and a half.
Yeah, and it's such a shitty situation for him. And I'm not like a Trey Lance truther. Like I just want to see what he can do. Like
Right.
all I've been hearing about this guy since I've heard his name is, oh, he's got potential. He's got potential. Okay, let's see the potential. But he's either hurt, not starting, and he's gonna get a shot to, prove he was the number 2 or number 3, number 2, 3,
I think he was a
number
third
3.
overall pick.
Yeah, number 3rd overall for a reason. And if he can, I believe he can be. If he can finally get it together, he can be a Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen type of quarterback. And I think that's what Shanahan was aiming for, but it just really has not panned out. So, but
I
if
want to I want to jump in really quick.
go ahead.
I think he does get traded eventually. I really do think he does, because even though you traded up and gave up a lot of draft capital to find him, you still found Brock Purdy in the 7th. So technically, if you can win an NFC champion or go to the NFC championship game, win 7 games in a row with Mr. Irrelevant, then technically it doesn't really matter that you gave up all this draft capital because you found your next quarterback. I mean, would you expect even more from Trey Lance? I mean, it's kind of
I
hard to be a rookie and win 7 games in a row, go to the NFC Championship, get injured. So I think technically you're basically getting the quarterback. You just got him later in the next year's draft.
I 100% agree, but the only problem is Brock Purdy is coming off a pretty serious injury, and it's unknown. So that's the only reason I'm like, let's just see what Trey Lance got. If Brock Purdy was 100% healthy, I'd say ship him. I don't care because
Mhm.
That's why I say, like, I think he doesn't. I think he eventually gets traded because I don't care how good of a season Trey Lance has. I really personally don't. I think Brock Purdy's the answer. I really do. I'm kind of a Brock Purdy truther. I saw enough from him. I saw because he had pose, dude. Poise. He had poise. He was cold out there, man. Like he just ice in his veins. Like came in just he had the mentality of a veteran quarterback. He can still be mobile. He has a decent arm. He's accurate with the quarterback. He knows the scheme that Shanahan wants to run, and he ran it as Mr. fucking irrelevant, dude. It's like, I don't know how much more you need to see in order to know that he's a quarterback. I think that Trey Lance starts the season because he's probably going to be healthier quicker. But like, if Trey Lance even has a good season, I think that he still might want Brock Purdy because not only that, like he'll be the cap hit will be less because number 3 overall, you're going to be paying that quarterback a little bit more,
Very true.
I think
you
run into some turmoil, right? Like if you keep him and he comes out and he beats Sam Darnold. By the way, the 49ers signed Sam Darnold to be a backup quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
He comes out and Trey Lance does really well in the beginning of the season. How do you take him out and put in Brock Purdy now, right? Or the reverse is true. Brock Purdy starts, but then starts to have some difficulties. Then you're going to have a lot of pressure. Hey, we got to pull him. We got to see what we got with Trey Lance. And now it's just constant turmoil at the quarterback position. And that's not something you want.
Yeah. I think the only solution is to trade Nick Bosa to the Chargers.
Never would happen. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting situation for sure. But, I just want to win games. So
it's a good problem.
That's all that matters. That's all. And it is. Like if Trey Lance plays, let's say he plays 3/4 of what Jalen Hurts did last year, pretty serviceable, right? 3/4. That's I could see that. And then Brock Purdy he gets healthy. He shows up. He shows that he's just far superior than Trey Lance, and he's playing better than what a 3/4 Jalen Hurts. I'm fine with it. Like it's just, or the vice versa. If Brock Purdy struggles and then Trey Lance is just whipping it and showing that he can actually read the offense, read defenses, he's a better athlete. Let's be real. He's a better athlete than Brock Purdy, and he has a bigger arm. I just don't know if he can read the game as quick as Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy's also more experience under his belt. So I think that's what's kind of helping BCB out there. But it's going to be an interesting situation.
What if you transition Trey Lance to tight end and then have Brock Purdy play quarterback?
All right, dude.
We saw what happened last time he got ran. So, oh my goodness. But yeah, it'll be an interesting situation to say the least.
Yeah, agreed.
We got teams like the Packers who have had solid quarterbacks for 2 fucking decades, and then the 49ers have been looking for a quarterback since fucking Steve Young. So
problems. That's what I'll say, man. Hey, if I can leave you guys with anything, man, the Pack will be back. All right, we might be down for a couple years, but we're coming back.
I don't doubt that in the slightest. I mean, they've had nothing but Hall of Fame quarterbacks since the NFL was a thing. So I'm sure maybe really if Jordan Love isn't the answer.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, maybe if Jordan Love isn't the answer, I'm sure they'll get a Caleb Williams or something. Something just going to pop out of nowhere, and they're going to be right back on top of the division again. It's just history repeats itself.
We're just
very, very true.
The new Cleveland Browns, dude. We'll just be the Browns. We'll suck forever.
Never have a winning season again.
Yeah, right. I'll have to change.
Remember when they won the Super Bowl when I was a junior?
Yeah, 2011, baby.
Oh my god.
Oh shit. All right, guys. Well, Everyone, I think that is going to conclude this episode. Zach, thank you again for coming on, man. Thank you for giving us your thoughts and opinions on the Packers, where they're going to go this year, discussing the Aaron Rodgers trade. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, follow us on our Instagram, Cannonballs with a Z _podcast. Jake, close us out.
Thanks for listening. Thank you for joining us, Zach. And as always, peace.